I should have been excited. Turning 50 felt like something worth celebrating, especially after the year we'd had. Layoffs, hospital visits, bills stacked like quiet threats on the kitchen counter. But somehow, we'd made it through. So when my son insisted on planning a small party for me, I let myself believe this was one of those moments parents live for. "Dad, don't ask questions," he said, grinning. "Just show up Saturday." He'd been distant lately, working late, on his phone more than usual. But I chalked it up to adulthood. Kids grow. Parents adjust. That evening, my wife was folding laundry when she froze. "Something's not right," she said softly. I looked up. "What do you mean?" She held up my son's jacket, the one he'd left draped over a chair. Her hand was shaking. "Look at this," she whispered. Inside the pocket was an envelope. Not a birthday card. Not cash. Documents. Folded carefully. Official looking. My name typed across the top. My chest tightened. I took the papers from her and skimmed the first page. A loan application. In my name. But not my signature. My wife sat down hard on the bed. "He wouldn't," she said. "He wouldn't do something like this. Would he?" I wanted to believe her. But suddenly the party didn't feel like a celebration. It felt like a distraction. And the worst part? The date on the application was tomorrow morning. The same morning as the surprise party. I folded the papers back into the envelope, my hands cold. Whatever my son was planning. It wasn't just a party. I didn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw my son as a little boy, mud on his sneakers, hands outstretched, asking me to trust him. I'd spent his whole life telling him honesty mattered more than comfort. By morning, the house felt heavier. I watched him rush around the kitchen, checking his phone, acting cheerful. "You ready for tomorrow?" he asked, a little too brightly. "Almost," I replied. He smiled, but his eyes flicked away. That's when my wife slid her phone across the table to me. She'd done what mothers do when something feels wrong. She'd look deeper. There were emails, late-night messages, missed payments, warnings from a lender we'd never heard of. Our son was drowning. And instead of asking for help, he'd chosen the one thing we'd always protected, our credit, our name, our future. I pulled him aside. "Why is there a loan application with my name on it?" I asked. His face went white. He opened his mouth, closed it, then slumped into a chair. "I just needed time," he whispered. "The party was supposed to give me that. Once the money cleared, I'd fix everything." "By lying?" my wife asked, her voice breaking. He looked up, tears in his eyes. "I didn't think you'd notice." That hurt more than the betrayal. Because it meant he'd underestimated us, not just as parents, but as people who'd taught him better. "Cancel the application," I said firmly. "Today." He hesitated. That hesitation told me everything. Because the truth was, the party wasn't for me. It was a smokescreen. And the decision he made next would decide whether our family healed or fractured forever. He finally told us the truth that afternoon, sitting at the same kitchen table where we'd helped him with homework, college applications, and heartbreaks. "I didn't lose the money on something stupid," he said quietly. "I lost it trying to help someone." My wife folded her arms. "Who?" He hesitated. Then said a name we didn't expect. His childhood friend, Mark. The one who'd bounced between jobs. The one who always needed just one more favor. "He said it was a sure thing," my son continued. "A small business. Food truck. He needed an investor fast. And when it failed." "My son," I said slowly, "why didn't you come to us?" His eyes filled with tears. "Because I wanted you to still be proud of me." That sentence landed like a punch. Pride. The quiet pressure parents don't always realize they create. But pride doesn't excuse fraud. "You don't save a mistake by making it bigger," my wife said gently. "And you don't fix shame by passing it on." The party decorations were still stacked in the corner of the living room, balloons, a banner that read "Happy 50th, Dad." It all felt painfully out of place now. That evening, my wife made a call. To the lender. She reported the application as fraudulent. My son stared at her, stunned. "Mom. I'm protecting this family," she said. "Including you." The party was canceled. Not with anger, but with honesty. And that night, as my son sat in his room, Broken and quiet, I realized something important. Parenting doesn't end when your kids grow up. Sometimes it gets harder. Because love means holding them accountable. Even when it hurts both of you. The lender called the next morning. Not angry. Professional. Cold. They confirmed the application was flagged and cancelled. No money was released. No permanent damage done, this time. But consequences don't always come with sirens. Sometimes they arrive quietly, in disappointment. My son lost his apartment within the month. He sold his car. Took a second job stocking shelves overnight. Not because we forced him, but because, for the first time, he faced the weight of what he'd almost done. One night, I found him sitting on the back steps, staring at nothing. "I wanted to surprise you," he said. "Make you proud." I sat beside him. "I don't need parties," I replied. "I need honesty." He nodded, tears sliding down his face. "I was scared." "So was I said. "But fear doesn't get to decide who we become." Slowly, trust began to rebuild, not through speeches, but through actions. Payments made. Calls returned. Hard days faced instead of avoided. Months later, on my birthday, there was no party. Just dinner at home. My son cooked. Burned the chicken. Laughed at himself. Halfway through the meal, he slid something across the table. A handwritten letter. "I'm sorry I almost made you pay for my mistake," it read. "Thank you for stopping me before I became someone I couldn't recognize." My wife reached for my hand. That night, I understood something deeply American, and deeply human. We celebrate success loudly, but we heal in quiet kitchens, with truth on the table. And sometimes the greatest gift your child can give you is finally choosing to do the right thing. We never rescheduled the party. At first, that felt sad, like something had been taken from me. But as time passed, I realized it was never about balloons or speeches or cake. It was about being seen. And in the end, my wife saw what I couldn't. One quiet Sunday morning, months later, my son joined us for coffee. No rushing. No phone buzzing in his hand. Just him, tired, older somehow, but steadier. "I used to think being a good son meant impressing you," he said. "Now I know it means being honest, even when I'm ashamed." I nodded. "And being a good parent doesn't mean pretending your child can do no wrong." My wife smiled softly. "It means speaking up when something feels wrong, before it destroys everyone." That moment stayed with me. Because in America, so many families live under silent pressure. To succeed. To appear stable. To hide struggles until they explode. My son learned that day that shortcuts cost more than hard work. I learned that pride can blind us. And my wife reminded us all that intuition is a form of love. We didn't celebrate with music or guests. We celebrated with truth. And honestly, it was the best birthday I've ever had.